This is Beyond a Reasonable Doubt with your hosts, Mark Garrigus and Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on a choice maker on a mandate. Get it on, and welcome to the best 15 minutes or so in the universe. It's Beyond a Reasonable Doubt. I'm Adam Carolla. There's Mark Garrigus over there
in studio. I moved heaven and earth to get here to see you after your whirlwind Manhattan Big Apple tour that you're back in the jurisdiction now. Because everything reminds you of something.
I thank you. Name of the new book. I was out there promoting it. I haven't been to New York, and I could have been 3 years. I don't know. Way too long.
Yeah, it was since I remember the last time you were there. We had dinner at the steakhouse with Drew.
Yeah, which I was able to hook up with Drew a little bit over there, but obviously you were back here.
I was here, and then you sent Drew, and Drew and I did the Adam and Drew show, which was fun because I haven't seen him in person in a while.
Drew was explaining to me earlier today how much he enjoyed sitting down with you. And I got a little jealous at some point, so I feel very replaceable now. But I know you're a busy man, so it's never going to work. But the audience loved you two together, and Drew loved you two together.
Drew and I don't get to talk as much as we would like. I mean, with you, I get to see you every week. That's why I run out of here. But Drew, I don't. Even when we go out, Susan's yapping at me and Paulette's monopolizing Drew, so it's hard to have a sustained conversation. So.
Yes,
and
agreed.
Susan, don't take it personally when I say yapping, because it's just kind of. I mean, is there a better word than for Susan than yap?
There's no kinder word. They're more descriptive words.
For those who don't know, I adore Susan, so you have to understand it. But. We were just starting to talk the difference between New York City and downtown L.A. Mm-hmm. There is no comparison as to what's happening.
Well, it was interesting as I was walking through Manhattan, and I circumnavigated that place because I was staying on 44th. I was heading down to Fox and Sirius XM, and so I kept going multiple times to Fox. You do the Fox and Friends in the morning, then you're coming back for Kilmeade show, and then you're doing Tucker later on after that or whatever. And I kept going back and forth, and I was doing the same with Sirius XM. And so I was walking, it was about 10 blocks, I guess, or 13 blocks, something like that. And I was passing tons of humanity on the street, just tourists, people working, people going this direction, that direction, pedicabs and everything else. And then the occasional homeless person I would see. But as I was walking, I was thinking the ratio between people just taking care of business or seeing the sights or for whatever reason they're on the streets, being on the street, and the homeless person was 3,000 to 1. It was like where every person who was walking with purpose to go to lunch or go to another business address or there for tourism, there was one homeless person for every 3,000 people. Now, L.A. is a very different
It's almost the
algorithm.
exact opposite.
Yes.
I was commenting to you, and it's true. I was in downtown L.A. yesterday. We're doing this on Tuesday, and the zombie apocalypse was in full force. And
yes. It's interesting. And I don't know, Gary, we have that shortened Newsom clip, but I don't think played this one for you. But when he was in here 9 years ago being cornered by me, he did tell me
President Newsom. There is a belief, I should put it, that he is going to be the Democratic nominee in 2024, and that Biden is either not going to run or that the so-called progressive wing is going to take Biden out so that Newsom can. And by the way, for anybody who says, oh, you're delusional, he's running ads in Florida and Texas.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I was thinking about this yesterday because they're somebody pontificate about it on Hannity, and I was thinking about something that I didn't get it into the 3 minutes I had, but I was thinking about, so you go, why is Gavin Newsom thinking about running for president. And it's not because he's overly qualified or has done a bang-up job in California. It's because Biden, Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, Pritzker,
I will tell you, if you take him out of the mix and you rank it, it's Buttigieg, Gina Raimondo, and then you fall off a cliff.
I said
it's not going to be Kamala.
It's basically like him running for homecoming queen or homecoming king at a welding school. Like there's just nobody to choose from. So you go, well, why not give it to this guy? Gary, the clip I'm thinking about is more like a minute. If whatever the one, Chris shortened it up, by the way.
Not the one we played on A&D?
No. It's I told him to whack off the first 30. You'll see it. But anyway, yeah, he's running because there's nobody else running. Not
there's
because
nobody
he's
else running. And by the way, I know in talking with longtime Democrats who kind of and I repeat this because they don't want to be outed because they're for fear of, in fact, I had one guy pull me aside the other day and say, I can't believe how you navigate your worlds. And I said, what are you talking about? I said, you'll actually say what we're all thinking and what we all say behind closed doors. And I said, what are you talking about? And they said, well, nobody wants to say that or be the first one to kind of say Biden can't run. This is ridiculous. It's like handing the election to DeSantis. That's the kind of the great fear. DeSantis has become the boogeyman. But the idea that the best we can put forward, we being the Democrats, is Newsom is just shocking to me.
Well, as I was saying when I was doing one of those Fox shows and we were trying to figure it out, where you kind of do this, and you are uniquely qualified and intellectually honest, and you can answer this question. I was saying, is it the person, meaning Gavin Newsom, or it was Cuomo, or who was the mayor? Or sorry, the governor of New York, who just De Blasio,
De Blasio was the mayor.
He was the mayor, or Lori Lightfoot, or whatever. Is it them? Or is it a policy that is curriculum that is so ridiculous that, of course, you're going to fuck yourself? Like, if you're a solid left, leaning Democrat, you have to go no school choice, higher taxes, soft on crime, transgender everything. And then everyone goes, you fucking don't know how to run a city. You're a fool. And then you go, but who could run that? I mean, if you said that, if you took Ronald Reagan, or you took Bill Clinton or Ronald Reagan, the poster boy for one side and a poster boy for the other side, or maybe Obama and Reagan or whoever, and you went, okay, you can govern. Oh, fine. Well, here are the rules. There is no sexes anymore. What? Yeah. Don't answer. You say birthing people. Don't say men and women. And you can't say Hispanic. We're going with Latinx now. And the border's got to be wide open. And we got to talk about raising some taxes here. Well, how popular would Bill Clinton be, or Ronald Reagan? Like, how could you get away with it? Like, my contention is the policies that they're held to are so nuts that it's not even the person anymore. Like, you go, Gavin Newsom or Lori Lightfoot, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. No, they know what they're doing. They're following policies that are wildly unpopular. People are worried about the price of gas, not the transgendered swim team, and yet they have to focus on this. So I would argue, change the fucking policy. You're making these people seem nuts.
This is my theory. I hadn't thought of it from that standpoint. From the conversations I have is, why do we get baited into bright lines like, what's woman athlete of the year, or we're going to embrace the idea that you got to teach this or you've got to teach that. We get baited. Is my theory.
And then
we go. It's almost reflexive. If you want to fight, and I think this is the reason why Cuomo and Newsom, and to some degree on the left, Michael Avenatti, why people embrace and then quickly fall out of favor. Is because you want somebody who fights, because there is nobody who really fights kind of for what you believe in, but you don't want them to fight on their territory. And it seems like that's what we reflexively do. We always jump to the bait.
The Democrats get sucked into, you got to endorse Drag Queen Story Hour for the kids, right? And you go, I do? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Oh, so I have to endorse it? Yeah. And then all the normal people go, I don't want that tranny hanging out at my fucking kid's school. And then they go, I don't want to vote for this guy because he wants the tranny hanging out at the school. And then they go, why'd you buy into it? Just go, you know what? I'm not down with that either. How about that?
I don't even know why you have to go there. It's just I'm not talking. There's bigger issues to me than whether Leah is Woman Athlete of the Year. No, I don't need. No, that's you can deal with that.
Right. They get sucked into these things.
Into these phony, what I would call red herring arguments, and why is beyond me. Because clearly, 2 years ago, I believe it was less than 1% of the populace said inflation was their big issue. Now it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 40%, which Joe Biden wishes he had that same focus on him for approval. So just say, look, I'll deal with those issues once I've tamed inflation, or once I've made sure that we've gotten gas prices down, or things that are bread and butter issues, which is, you go back to Clinton, that was Clinton's genius, because he had Carville telling him, it's the economy, and you keep it simple, stupid. That was his kiss strategy. Instead, we get baited. We are just like children. We're children with sugar. That somebody puts the sugar out, and we just indulge, and we just inhale it because we just think we have to.
I have the clip of Newsom sitting right where you were sitting about 9 years ago. And this is where he explains
the future president.
Homelessness is his biggest problem. And guess who he thinks are the homeless people? And you can hear who I think are homeless 9 years ago.
That was my issue, homelessness, and my passionate efforts to deal with homeless. That's an issue that no one cares about in this country. I care deeply.
Well, listen, the thing about homeless people is they're either junkies or they're crazy or they're both. This notion of like the guy's a hardworking, God-fearing family member who lost his job and now had to take to the streets is total and utter bullshit.
But what about the picture of real homelessness, which is a poor mom with 2 kids with a husband who took off and left her, who's sitting there struggling on that minimum wage job, and all of a sudden now is out in the streets and sidewalks desperately trying to find some help, get her life back, can't get those kids into child care.
I think that's what happened to
can't
Jewel.
afford them.
That's
the tough thing.
Yeah, that's tough.
And that's a picture of family homelessness in this country.
That's a postage stamp.
Yeah.
That's the picture of homelessness.
That's the picture of homelessness. Come on down. At least I'll give Jerry Brown. Jerry Brown used to come down to Engine Company. I used to sit and have dinner with him. He'd walk over from the athletic club. And I defy future President Newsom to go stay at the athletic club on Olive, come walking over for dinner, and tell me if the homeless situation that you view walking from Olive over to Figueroa are the mothers whose deadbeat dads left them, and they're there on the streets.
They're making
with their
minimum
children.
wage jobs.
Yeah.
They have jobs.
Yeah.
Because
they had their minimum wage job. They were at Chick-fil-A. And then because they didn't get Chick-fil-A doesn't open on Sunday, they were in the streets. I mean, I don't even know what he's talking about. Guy, I'll take you on a trip. Get off on Wilshire as you're coming down the 110. And as you go down the stretch of tents that makes Tijuana look like the Ritz-Carlton, take a look at the people there and point out to me every mother with her 2 kids who just got laid off from the
But there's a few things that should be takeaways from that conversation. He is passionate about this problem. No one else cared.
9 years ago. No one else cared.
cares? He has completely and utterly misidentified the problem 100% for some insane reason. I told him 9 years ago, drug addicts, mentally ill people. That's homelessness. He then explained as an official, here's the real picture of homelessness. He then painted a picture that's never been composed before because it doesn't exist, and then tried to bully me into some sort of, oh yeah, I guess this is what it is.
And my question is, and by the way, he's the guy who likes to go do ads in other people's backyards. What if somebody, can you imagine when the first person starts doing ads in his backyard? Here he is 9 years ago identifying the problem. To borrow a line from Ronald Reagan, is the homeless situation better or worse than it was 9 years ago? I mean, this is a guy who identified it, has raised billions of dollars of taxpayer and bond money to solve this problem, which he was early money on, and boy, did he solve it. Right? 9 years ago.
I mean, it's been 9 years, right, Gary? As it could have been over 9 years. Yes. So this is an example. I would play this clip and go, any other subjects you're passionate about, Gavin? So just so I could know what part of Canada to move to.
I wish I could just sell short the policies. If there was a way to sell that short like you do in the stock market, whatever he's passionate about, I want to sell short on because it's a clusterfuck to in the making, isn't it?
The thing that's vexing to me is, why is it so political to just point out the problem, identify it, and then work on it? Is Dr. Drew says, every woman, homeless woman, whose old man left and has 3 kids, can go avail themselves of any of the many shelters and outreach programs and food banks. They can go do whatever they want. This is, 2013.
So you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of, and I don't know if I played this for you. I've been in here a couple of times. Gary, do you have the tape of the USC medical doctor that we played for Drew?
Oh yeah, we got flagged on.
We got nailed for this.
Dinged on YouTube for playing a physician who runs a hospital giving his opinion.
Yeah, I want you to understand how crazy this is.
This is false information. What's false?
Play a press conference by the doctor who's an epidemiologist at USC County Hospital, where, as Drew pointed out, I said, Drew, every doctor I've ever known who's practicing in L.A. has done a stint through LAUSC.
Right. But back to Big Brother, how is it false information or misleading COVID information? That's his information.
That's what
that's where he works.
Right.
That's what he said.
It's where he works. And by the way, it's where, supposedly on Friday, I was in court yesterday morning. I've got a very serious case that I'm trying to get to trial on next Tuesday. And I was informed by the judge, Mr. Garrigus, you should know that if we have jurors next week, the presiding judge of the LA Superior Court has instituted masking as of Friday. I said, what do you mean he's instituted masking? He says the court staff and the jurors have to be masked. I said, how am I supposed to pick a jury with jurors who are masked? And basically, that's why he's telling me. I said, I'm not picking a jury with a client who's got the most serious, should have been fatal injuries, and he's been waiting 6 years to go to trial. And now we're going to have jurors who are masked come in, and I'm supposed to pick a jury with people who are masked when there is nothing going on in L.A. County. And he says, well, go down the hall. Basically, I'm invited to go take a writ. So here I am again in this Sisyphus. For those who don't know, that's the Greek mythological character whose version of hell is rolling a rock up a hill. And that's what I feel like living in L.A. County or having to practice in L.A. County is there is no hospitalization problem. There is no problem whatsoever, except now we're going to violate people's Sixth Amendment right to trial because of hysteria. And you and I just playing a tape of a doctor gets us flagged.
Look, if you people don't find this disturbing, Orwellian, and something, then something's fucking wrong with y'all.
Exactly
because we're entering a new stage here, and it's not a good one. And those of you who never stop talking about government overreach, we're losing our democracy and totalitarian dictatorships, look no further than California.
It's happening every day. This is, by the way, you want to talk about the Constitution, as you just said. This is your Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. I'm going to get masked jurors. That's how I'm going to select. Can you imagine? Why don't I just do a lottery or something? I mean, it's just, I've never even heard of such a thing. I don't even understand it. We're going to put, and by the way, what does that mean for me? Am I going to go into the courthouse and do I have to mask up?
Yeah, you're going to
Because if I don't, the jurors are going to say, why the fuck is Garrigus getting to walk in here without a mask and I got to wear a goddamn mask? How's that going to play?
Well, I'll tell you, you're going to want to select all the people who are complaining about wearing a mask. They think like you. All right. You can go to adamcarolla.com and find my new book over there, Salt Lake City, coming up, Wise Guys, coming up August 26th, 27th. And just go to adamcarolla.com for all the live shows.
Wait, when are you there?
August 26th, 27th.
Okay, Gary, remind me of that.
Don't say anything to Mike unless you mean it, because that guy trying to get back from where the hell were we?
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're trying to get back from Springfield, Missouri. His odyssey is like a 15-hour
I talked to him on the layover. Oh, it was a nightmare.
A nightmare odyssey. Oh, all right. Plugs.
Oh, opening today, Grand Central Terminal, Dirty Taco, slinging the breakfast burritos. Jake Tay, Luigi Grossman, go by, say hi, and I'll maybe buy a breakfast taco for you.
Nice. So, till next time, Adam Carolla for Mark Garrigus saying mahalo.
Thanks for listening to Beyond a Reasonable Doubt. Stay tuned for more bonus episodes coming soon.